Welcome to today's video, which is going to be about academic research. For this essay, our cause and effect essay, you're going to be needing to perform academic research. So I wanted to provide you 3 great resources that you will use for this essay and beyond for anybody continuing in their academic career. Academic research is a big part of that. So most people are familiar with the first way to research, which is Google. Now, Google is not always going to bring up a bunch of reliable sources, and certainly not ones that are always considered academic. So I wanted to show you a feature in Google that will help limit your search and make this more effective and certainly time efficient. So Google Advanced Search is the first tool I would like to show you. So the first thing I do is just type in Advanced Search into Google, and it will bring me to the Google Advanced Search option. Now, this is similar to a search page, except it has more filters for us to be able to limit our search function. So one of the examples I gave last week about cause and effect that I could perhaps use in an essay would be the effect on the songbirds when wolves were reintroduced in Yellowstone. And I thought that was just a really interesting cause and effect. The cause was the wolves being reintroduced, and there was an effect on the songbird population. So I don't know much about it, but I just know that there's something out there. So I'm going to start with Yellowstone wolves and songbirds, and I'm going to see those are going to be my search terms. And then if I scroll down here, I'm going to show you some of the features that I really like to use when I'm doing academic research. One is last updated. So if you're doing a cause and effect topic that is really recent, it's maybe a medical or scientific topic, you may want something within the last month, within the last year, so you can narrow your search down to only bring back results within that time. For my topic, I'm not too worried about time, but what I am really worried about is the site or domain, because I want to make sure that I am getting credible sources. So I'm going to start with .edus and see what those bring back. So what's great about this is that I give my search terms just like I would in Google, but then I'm telling Google to only return the search with .edu or education sites. So let's see what happens here when I hit Advanced Search. So I've got article from Oregon State here, hundreds of species of birds, so that looks promising. Wolves change ecosystems, many species such as songbirds. All right, so there's some good promising results here, and the great thing about this is that it's limited to .edu, so I don't have to filter through a whole bunch of stuff to find credible sources for academic research. Okay, one thing people aren't always familiar with also is the Control F function. So if I have this, but then I want to specifically look for songbirds, I can find that. You'll see it's highlighted here, songbirds. That was the only one that brought up specifically songbirds, but I can also do that in a PDF. So say I pull up this whole PDF, and I don't necessarily want to read the entire thing right off the bat, but I can do a Control F function and search songbirds, and it will pull up specifically where the article talks about that. So Control F function works on web browsers. It also works PDFs and Word documents. It's a great function to speed up your process in trying to find specific information. Okay, so that's Google Advanced Search. Another search function that a lot of people are familiar with is Google Scholar. I'm just going to type in Google Scholar here, and same thing, except this time, let's see, I'm going to type in Yellowstone wolves and songbirds. Oops. Songbird, here it is. And now we can see again, these are mostly going to be academic credible sources. The thing about Google Scholar is that we don't necessarily have access to every article that's returned to us. So if it's got the PDF or the HTML over here, we do have access to it. So it seems like I actually have quite a few returned with access. But say I read this little brief abstract and I was like, oh my gosh, I have to get that article. This is it. And I don't have access to it on Google Scholar. Jot down the information on that article and you may be able to get it through our library. Oh, this actually came up in a Google book. So I do have access to bits and pieces of that. So Google Scholar is another great way to efficiently accomplish academic research. The third way I want to show you today is actually through our CEI library. So I go to the CEI library website, or CEI.edu, click on library. I'm going to go to database searches. Now, database searches are often new for students, and they are really the home base of all academic research. So getting accustomed to using databases is going to be really useful as you move forward in your academic career. For our purposes, I'm going to go to EBSCO, that's the name of the database, and that has quite a bit of variety and information. So our user ID is ITEC, EITC, okay, and the password is library. Everybody's going to use that same thing. If you're on campus, I don't think it will ask you for that, but if you're off campus, the user ID is ITEC, the password is library. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and log in. I'm going to choose the first one here, EBSCO host databases. Now it's going to give me a whole list of different databases I could use. The most general databases for our purposes are going to be Academic Search Premier and Master File Premier. Those are general topic databases. You'll start to see if you scroll down, there's health databases, business databases, computer databases, education databases, so all types of databases in here with different information. But for our purposes for this essay, we're probably good with Academic Search Premier and Master File Premier. I'm going to continue through. Now, again, I get to type in my search term, Yellowstone wolves and songbirds. Now, one thing to realize is that if you're not getting any results back, there's a couple things. One, it may just not be a topic that's on anybody's academic radar. Or two, it may be a problem in your search terms. So don't give up just because you're not finding academic sources or reputable sources right off the bat. You may need to think about what terms am I using, because if people aren't referring to it in this way, then you're not going to get any search results. Okay, so there's my search terms. Now, if you come down, you'll see that, again, you have different filters. I would like full text. I don't want things returned that I don't have access to. If I wanted a publication date, I could do that range, but again, my topic's not quite as time sensitive as others. And for just to see what happens, I'm going to say scholarly journals. So, all right, so go ahead and hit my search button, and let's see what comes up. Let's see, that's about responsive songbirds to willow habitat. Oh, only one search result. Okay, so I think doing scholarly journals might have limited me a little too much there. So I'm going to go back and let's see if I can just unclick it from right here. All right. Now I've got a few more results. Still not anything very promising though. So I had actually better luck in Google Advanced Search and Google Scholar for this topic. But that doesn't mean that I'm not going to keep trying in my databases here. I'd probably play with my search terms a little bit and see if I couldn't find any more. Okay, so as you start your research this week for your cause and effect essay, be thinking about your academic sources, your reputable sources. And there's 3 ways to do that. It's Google Advanced Search, looking for .edus, and also .govs could be another limiter for us. Also Google Scholar and then finally our CEI databases. So hopefully that gets you started on the right track for your academic research, and let me know if you have any questions or problems.